The HOA tyrant and the hidden shed. The Texas sun was already scorching at 7 a.m. when I moved into my new home on Maple Lane, a quiet ranch-style neighborhood zoned for agriculture. My two Irish wolfhounds, Baxter and Lila, lumbered out of the truck, their massive frames drawing stares from neighbors. I'd chosen this place for its freedom. No one could tell me my 150-pound gentle giants didn't belong. But I hadn't counted on Margaret, the HOA president, whose reign of terror was about to turn my life upside down. When Baxter started growling at her pristine white house, I should have known something was wrong. What we uncovered in her backyard shed would unravel a neighborhood's darkest secrets. I met Henry, my next-door neighbor, that first morning. He was 70, watering his azaleas with a weary smile. "Nice dogs," he said, admiring Baxter's shaggy coat. "But watch out for Margaret. She's run this HOA like a dictator for 4 years. 6 families have left because of her." I brushed it off. I'd dealt with busybodies before. My property was zoned R3 agricultural. I could keep horses if I wanted. No HOA could touch me. But Henry's trembling hands as he glanced toward Margaret's house should have been my first clue. Margaret arrived that afternoon in a golf cart, her navy blazer absurd in the 90-degree heat. She clutched a leather-bound HOA rulebook like a Bible. "Those dogs," she snapped, pointing at Baxter and Lila lounging on my porch, "violate bylaw 4.1.2. No pets over 35 pounds. I laughed, which was a mistake. "Ma'am, this is an agricultural zone. My dogs are legal." I showed her my property deed, but she wasn't listening. Baxter stood between us, growling a sound I'd never heard from him. Margaret's face flickered with fear, then hardened. "Your mailbox is 2 inches off regulation. That's a $150 fine," she said, snapping photos with her phone. "I decide what's acceptable here." She sped off, but not before I caught her glaring at Baxter like he was a threat to her empire. That night, my phone pinged with an HOA email. A $200 fine for excessive dog noise. At 10 p.m. Baxter and Lila had been asleep at my feet all evening. Attached was a blurry photo of my house. Zooming in, I froze. In the shadows, barely visible, was a figure in my yard. I yanked back the curtain and saw Margaret standing there, holding something, smiling at my security camera. My stomach churned. What was she doing at midnight? I installed 4 high-definition cameras the next day. The tech, a kid named Jake, smirked. "HOA trouble? You're the 4th this month." By nightfall, I had live feeds on my laptop. At 2 a.m., the motion alert blared. Margaret, dressed in black, tossed raw meat over my fence. The vet later confirmed it was laced with laxatives. The next night, she set up a speaker blasting dog barks at 5 a.m., waking the neighborhood. My neighbors grumbled, thinking it was my dogs. Night 3, she sprayed a foul liquid along my fence, making Baxter and Lila avoid that side of the yard. Each attack was just outside my property line, calculated, untouchable. I dug into the neighborhood's private online group. Posts from years back painted a chilling picture. Missing decorations, mysterious finds, families fleeing after clashing with Margaret. One thread, lost items, for years, mentioned a shed behind Margaret's house. A deleted user wrote, "Check her backyard." No one followed up. Henry stopped by with coffee, his face grim. My wife's silver cross vanished after we complained about Margaret's late-night parties. She's driven out 6 families. The last one, the Thompsons, lost their collie, Daisy. She disappeared, and they left a month later. His hands shook. "Be careful." The attacks intensified. A new post in the group warned, "Stop digging, or your dogs will vanish like the others." Then my phone rang. Margaret's voice purred, "Sweet dreams, neighbor. Hope you're not too attached to those mutts." I was shaken but resolved. She'd threatened my dogs. That was her mistake. 3 days later, Margaret staged her masterstroke. I heard shouting outside. She stood in her yard, blazer torn, scratches on her face, screaming into her phone, "Help." My neighbor's dogs attacked me. She was live streaming on the neighborhood page, crying, "These vicious animals are a menace." 3 men in black shirts, fake HOA security, backed her story. Neighbors gathered, phones recording. Sirens wailed. Deputy Sheriff Daniels, a no-nonsense ex-Marine, approached my door. "Sir, your dogs attacked a neighbor. Step outside." Baxter and Lila barked inside, confused. I was moments from arrest. Henry saved me. Running despite his age, he waved his phone. "I have video." His camera showed Margaret scratching her face, tearing her clothes, and rolling in dirt to fake an attack. The crowd went silent. Daniel's face darkened. "Ma'am, you're coming with me to discuss false reporting." Margaret screamed. "It's a deep fake. They're conspiring against me." But her security team slipped away, and the neighbors' phones turned on her. She glared at Henry, mouthing, "You're next." He whispered to me, "The Thompsons' dog, Daisy, she got sick after they fought Margaret." Then she vanished. Margaret smiled for weeks. The fines piled up, $250 for unapproved garden weeds, $400 for threatening dog presence. My bank account bled. Some neighbors avoided me, fearing Margaret's wrath. I considered selling, but Baxter changed my mind. He tugged my sleeve, whining, and sat by the window, staring at Margaret's house. Lila joined him, alert for once. "All right, boy," I said. "We fight." I filed a property survey request, a legal move to inspect all structures in the area. Margaret's shed 8x10, heavily locked, with new power cable swazing on her original property plans. The survey would expose it. She panicked, filing a harassment complaint, dismissed, calling an HOA meeting, which flopped, and sending a lawyer, who dropped her. She even showed up at my door, offering $20,000 to leave. When I refused, her mask slipped. "Accidents happen," she hissed. "Dogs get loose. Houses catch fire. My cameras were recording." "That's a threat, Margaret?" She smirked. "Prove it." The survey team arrived 3 days later. Margaret protested, but they had a warrant. When they reached her shed, the lead surveyor's face tightened. "Unpermitted structure, built 4 years ago. We're reporting it." He lowered his voice. "Our metal detector found large objects underground near the shed. Not pipes. I've called it in." Margaret was pale, dialing her phone with trembling hands. The city gave her 48 hours to open the shed. She rented a moving truck, frantically hauling items at night. One night, she dropped a heavy statue. It shattered, and Mrs. Patel from across the street gasped. "That's my family's Vishnu statue, stolen 3 years ago." Neighbors flooded the group page. Missing gnomes, crosses, memorial stones, all after HOA disputes. Bob, a retiree, confronted her. "You fined me $300 for brown grass. Then my son's handmade birdhouse vanished." Coincidence? Margaret barricaded herself inside, live streaming denials. But the comments tore her apart. The night before the inspection, Baxter whined at the window. The shed door was open, empty. Beside it, fresh concrete gleamed 6x3 feet, with a handprint in the corner. My phone buzzed with an anonymous email. 2018 footage. Videos showed Margaret poisoning a dog's food and leading Daisy away. A text screenshot read, "Thompson dog handled." I forwarded it to Daniels. At 8 a.m., the inspector, Daniels, and a social worker arrived. Margaret emerged in a bathrobe, defiant. "This is persecution." The shed doors opened, revealing a museum of stolen goods. Crosses, statues, a child's ceramic turtle, labeled with names, dates, and violations. My file, labeled "New Threat," detailed plans to poison Baxter and Lila. The Thompson file had receipts for rat poison and a note. "Dog disposed at Site B." A map marked 6 sites. The social worker said, "We're checking them all." Margaret snapped. "I brought order. You with your crooked mailboxes, tacky decorations. I saved this neighborhood." As Daniels cuffed her, she laughed. "You'll beg for me when property values crash." The sites revealed 6 pets' remains, all from families who'd opposed her. Her computer showed she'd sold stolen items online, embezzled HOA funds, and spied on neighbors. The concrete hid valuable Lutno bodies, thankfully, but enough for federal charges. That evening, neighbors gathered. Mrs. Patel cooked a feast. Bob raised funds for displaced families. Henry polished his wife's cross, tears falling. "She kept it shined," he said. "What kind of person does that?" We didn't need Margaret's iron fist. We needed each other. Baxter, the hero, soaked up treats and hugs. A mural of him now graces the community center. Baxter, our savior. 3 months later, we held the Freedom from Tyranny barbecue. Henry, the new HOA president, slashed the bylaws to one rule: be kind. Margaret got 2 years in prison and 500 hours at an animal shelter. Her house was sold to pay the victims. Baxter wears an honorary deputy badge. The federal case tied her to a network of rogue HOA leaders, leading to more arrests. As I watched neighbors laugh at the barbecue, I patted Baxter. Mission accomplished, boy. We'd earned peace. But the concrete patch haunts me. What else might she have buried? What would you do if faced with such injustice? Have you encountered a bully like Margaret? Share your thoughts below. Should we fight back or walk away? Let's debate. Your voice matters.